So first thing we're going to talk about are ratios. Ratios they're comparisons of two quantities. They can be written as a fraction, colon, or using the word to. So it says in a class of 20 students, 12 are girls. Write the ratio of the number of girls to total students. So there are 12 girls out of 20 students. We can use it with a colon or with the word to in between. Ratios can be reduced, and I highly recommend that you just go ahead and reduce them. All of them should pretty much be reduced. So this is how you write all of those in reduced form. One example, there are 14 red marbles and 20 blue marbles in a bag of marbles. What is the ratio of red to blue? So we have 14 red marbles to 20 blue. And then reducing that gives us 7 to 10. And wants to know the ratio of blue marbles to total marbles. So there are 20 blue marbles out of a total of 20 plus 14 gives us 34 total marbles. And again, we can reduce this to give us 10 out of 17. And again, you can write it either way. Rates is a ratio comparing two different units. So for instance, miles per hour that you guys know when you're driving cars and that kind of thing. So it says a bike travels 54 miles in 4 hours. And we can write that as 54 miles for 4 hours. And you can have equivalent rates by multiplying or dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. So for instance, we can do 54 over 4 and divide them by 2, which gives us 27 miles out of 2 hours. Or you can divide it completely and get 13.5 miles per hour. So I could also multiply both of these by, say, the number 3, and I can get bigger numbers. It doesn't matter. You just multiply by the same number, both the numerator and denominator. So for example, Sierra can make 8 friendship bracelets in 2 hours. Which of the following rates is equivalent to 8 over 2? So you're just looking for what, is comparable to that, and it would be 16 out of 4. I can divide 16 by 2 and get 8, 4 divided by 2 and get 2. So these are comparable. Mark can type 44 words in 2 minutes. Which of the following is equivalent to that rate? And so we're just looking for what is comparable. And the only one that works is D. So you can always take your calculator, or if it's not a non-calculator section, just play with the numbers. And so I just like putting them into fractions. 44 divided by 2 is 22. So I need something that'll give me the same thing. That's not it. That's not it. Not it. And divided by 6, 22. Those are the same. So that helps. I recommend doing it that way as well. All right. Now, unit rates. A unit rate is a ratio of two different measurements where the second measurement is 1. So I talked about this. It's just doing your miles per hour. So it's the amount for one item, mile, hour, whatever. So if we're doing a rate of 100 miles in 3 hours, all you do is 180 over 3. We divide it and we get 60 miles per 1 hour. So for example, you can buy a 40-ounce jar of peanut butter for $5.25, or you can buy a 15-ounce jar for $2.10. Which is the better deal? If we find out the cost per ounce for each jar, then we can determine which is better. So you always put money on top. So we have 40 ounces for $5.25. And when we divide, we get 13 cents out of 1 ounce. And then the next one we have is 15 ounces for $2.10. And when we divide that, we get 14 cents out of 1 ounce. And so since 14 cents is more than the 13 cents, this one is going to be a better deal. So the 40-ounce jar is a better deal. All right, a little bit more guided practice for you guys. A car travels 420 miles on 15 gallons of gas. Express this as a unit rate. So all we do is put miles over the gallons. And when we divide, we get 28 miles per gallon. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 2 practice questions to work on your own. And now we're going to get into proportions. You saw this a lot in geometry. A proportion is an equation stating that 2 ratios or fractions are equal. And all we do is cross multiply. That's it. So for example, the average classroom at one school has 2 boys for every girl. If there are 12 boys in a room, how many girls would there be? So we can just set up a proportion for this. So we have, let me show the question again so that you guys can see it. So again, it's 2 boys for every girl. 2 boys for every girl. If there are 12 boys in a room, we want boys here. Then it says how many girls. So this is our X, our variable. So girls will be X. Remember, you want things that are alike together. 2 boys, 12 boys, 1 girl, X girls. Girls, girls. Then all you do is cross multiply. 12 times 1 is 12. 2 times X is 2X. Divide by 2. And 6 equals X. So there are 6 girls in the class. Paul reads 5 pages in 4 minutes. How many pages can he read in 7? So 5 pages out of 4 minutes. How many pages, so pages is our variable, can he read in 7 minutes? So you set up your portion like things are together. And then here we cross multiply. 4 times X is 4X. 5 times 7 is 35. Divide by 4. And you get 8.75 pages. Another example for you to try, and now we're going to look at some ACT practice questions. So when we look at this first example, it says a construction team is building a house from blueprints that are made to scale. Every 0.5 inch on the blueprint corresponds to 5 feet. So for every 0.5 inch, we get 5 feet. One wall the team is currently working on is 4.5 inches. So 4.5 inches and inches go together. Approximately how many feet tall does the wall need to be? So over X amount of feet. Then all you do is cross multiply. And 4.5 times 5 is 22.5. And 0.5 times X is 0.5X. Then all we do is divide. And you get X equals 45. So the answer to this one is D. At the end of a season, a team's ratio of wins to losses is 3-5. If there were no ties, what percentage of its games did the team win? So we want percent of wins over the total. So there we said wins to losses is 3 to 5. So we have 3 wins out of, we want the total amount of games. So 3 plus 5 is 8. So it's 3 out of 8. And then when you divide this, you end up getting 37.5, which is the same thing as 37.5%. All right, last question. 4 liters of water are mixed with 6 juiced lemons to make lemonade. How many liters of water should be mixed with 10 juiced lemons to obtain the same result? So 4 liters of water are mixed with 6 lemons. How many liters of water, so we don't know the water part, should be mixed with 10 lemons? So again, water, water, lemons, lemons. These two numbers go together. And then this is also what goes together. Cross multiply. 4 times 10 is 40. 6 times x is 6x. Divide by 6 on both sides. And then simplify. And you get 6 2/3, which is J. So now check this out on GoFormative and do some practice.